The following broadcast is brought to you in association by XP Coffee Company. XP Coffee Company is the fresh brewed coffee made for gamers by gamers. Get amazing flavors like Choco Loco in 8, 12, or 16-ounce bags, or level up and get Illusion, Isolation, Nightmare, or the Majestic Throne blends in light, medium, or dark roast in whole bean, coarse French press, drip, or fine espresso in 12-ounce, 16-ounce, or 2-pound bags. Wow! Shipping worldwide. If you're in the US, go to usa.xpcoffee.co. If you're in Europe or in the UK, go to www.xpcoffee.co. XP Coffee Company, for gamers, by gamers.
What's going on, guys? Jackson here from Vendetta Sports Media, and today I am joined by two of the newer writers on the site. We got Adam and Matthew, and we're going to be breaking down some breaking news that happened today. If you guys are big football fans like we are, but also gamers, then today is a day to celebrate because EA has announced that NCAA Football will be making a return, this time under the name of EA Sports College Football instead of NCAA Football, but nonetheless, college football in video game form is back. First off, Adam, how you doing, man?
Good, man. Thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it. I look for hearing what we all have to say and shooting the shit. It's my first time working with you guys, so I look hopefully not the last.
Yeah. All right, and Matthew, how you doing?
Doing right, just getting off class, excited for the news. It's the only reason I S3. It was like the only reason people had like original Xbox was for Halo 2. But finally getting the game back that we can actually be happy about, so I don't have to look at Michigan on the box anymore.
Yeah, or if you're like me, I've got my 360 right here next to me because I record stuff on it. I don't have to spend $130 to try to buy a copy. But yeah, well, let's just get our initial reactions real quickly. I was excited. I was at work when the news dropped, and when it did finally drop, oh my gosh, I was so happy. I think Adam, I think it was you that put it in the Slack. That was the Sports Center article. And then
yeah, I put it sitting. Yeah, no, sorry. I was ready right before class, and I got a little tweet alert from Sports Center and it popped up on my phone, and I was jacked up. We happened to be talking about it the day before in the Slack channel, how much they pay for a copy of a new one. I know I saw some numbers were going up to $1,000 or was, and I'm jacked up because it was the game I grew up playing. Road to Glory. The Heisman mode was like literally my things to do. I would do 4 or 5 characters a year. I was disappointed when they stopped making it, but obviously legal stuff comes first for
Matthew.
Yeah, on my side, I was yeah.
For viewers, there's a little bit of a delay
Luckily,
going on for us, so sorry to interrupt you, Adam, but just to tell viewers, and it's 100% on my end. I will fully take responsibility for that. But go ahead, Matthew. I've interrupted you for the last time.
To blame Jackson, got it. Luckily we were left off with a good game, kind of like in ESPN 2K5, that we were left off at least with something tangible, like left off with Madden, like Madden 12. But I don't know. I was getting ready after the day, just enjoying the snow day here in Maryland. News popped off. I was extremely excited because it came out of nowhere. We had, I think it was a year ago, that little heartbeat from EFers, and we all thought, don't tease us, don't do this to us. But it was all ecstatic, especially in the chat. Back and so excited for it.
Yeah, and so you mentioned about a little tease last year, and we'll kind of dig in a little bit to the news real quick, and then we'll kind of get to the meat of what this is about. Is kind of our hopes and wishes for what go along with this, and we'll kind of transition into that. But it is returning finally, thank God. But it's gonna take some time for it to get here. It's expected to be about 2 or 3 years from now. That's about the timetable that we have until we finally get our hands on it, and I'm cool with that, and I'll explain my reasons why. Is that first off, a 2 to 3 year development cycle, which it may even be more than that, because if they hinted about it last year, then perhaps it has been in early stages of development up to maybe a year, and then it has been in actual development as we speak, maybe a few months. I'm sure the pandemic has probably delayed some of the work somewhat, but that 2 to 3 year development cycle really will help EA kind of hash out the issues that they have right now with Madden on next gen, which is, I guess, will technically be current gen. It's current gen now, but the PS4 and the Xbox, or the PS5, excuse me, and the Xbox Series X. I don't know if you guys have watched any gameplay or anything, because I don't own a next gen console, but I've seen some gameplay of Madden on next gen consoles, and sometimes it looks great, sometimes it looks beautiful, like the atmosphere, the fans in the stands look great, but then it's like I watch someone playing a snow game in Lambeau, and I almost get blinded, like I go snowblind, because it's so bright, and some of the jersey colors just look kind of off, like the 49ers jersey colors almost kind of look pink to me in that next gen engine. So maybe they'll be able to hash out some of the issues. Matthew, will hand it off to you first. What are your? I'm trying to think of how the best way to put this. What are you? Just like, what's your reaction? Are you cool with the fact that they're taking 2 to 3 years for this development? And what is your kind of hope that now they have this extended period of time to work on the game?
Well, luckily, because franchise to begin with, everyone's going to be okay with them a long amount of time. However, no, I wanted this 5 years ago, but it doesn't matter as long as they do it properly. And by this time, all the games will be in full swing to where it'll be a PS4 option. They won't be an Xbox One option. It'll be switched up to the next. It'll be in full swing for that. So, like, we're not going to see like Madden 21, Madden 22 go for PS5 likely, or sorry, go for still be made in PS4 times. As long as the time that it needs. Luckily, they're also not starting from a graphics point of starting from scratch. This is a cultivating personalities of the colleges and the collegiate atmosphere that they were going to be focusing, which they were really starting to do, I believe, in 13 and 14, kind of getting the pageantry, the Seminole spike in the center, Trojan, and just what made it special. Ohio State fan, like I would love a little bit of Carmen, Ohio playing, but as long as it takes the time starting from scratch, they can still keep elements, just modernizing it.
Yeah, I would 100% love to play as West Virginia if they have the fans singing Country Roads as the game plays on. That would be that would be amazing.
100%.
That would be amazing. Or what university is it that it's like at the start of the fourth quarter, the entire stadium is rocking to jump? Yeah, Wisconsin. Yeah, yeah. Like if they were able to add that stuff in there, because EA is going to have that power, that would just be so cool.
Yeah, if they can feature those kind of the new, I believe it was like 3-4 years ago when Iowa introduced to the Children's Hospital, those kind of things. Baylor's new stage is it's almost port-like. Virginia Tech's, I can't remember. Is it Enter Sandman that they go out to? I can't remember off the top of my head. Those atmospheric things, they already have note of that. Things are always evolving. I saw like some people like in game is that like turnover items or something like that, to be added in, but they're not starting from scratch. They know what people, so I'm excited for it.
Go ahead, Adam.
Part of what to me, yeah, part of what you were talking about that earlier, the 2 to 3 year thing, and I wonder if it's in part because of the lack of ability to get these next gen consoles. I've been hunting for consoles for the last, since I don't know, since they dropped, and really hard the last 3 4 months, able to find anyone under $750 or one snatched up by one of those new bots. So I wonder if that's part of it. But I guess EA does with the 1 year game development cycle, they put out the same crap. So if it's going to take 2 to 3 years, I guess so be it. I was coming sooner, but the fact that it's only going to be on next, the lack of next gen consoles around, that has to be a factor in it. But you guys were talking about what makes college football so great and the traditions and the way those small little things. And I'm from New York, and there's no college football up here. We have, the most fans around me, we're fans of Notre Dame, which is nowhere near us. So
You don't like you don't like Dino Babers?
yeah, he's at Syracuse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, even then though, but Syracuse is still like a good 5 6 hours for me. Like people are more like a BC fan, and they suck. So I understand the huge aspect for what makes college football so interesting and so great for fans. And if that's what the players want, and that's what it's going to be a huge, I'm all for it. I wish it wouldn't take so long, but it might take me 2 to 3 years to get one of those consoles. Wait, I have to wait.
And also just bring it in that time, because we know, I can't remember, Madden switched over new. I don't remember the name. I'm not that linked into it. They switched over to the new engine years ago.
Yeah,
For their kind of physics packages and
yeah,
whatnot.
it was initially the Frostbite engine, because that's what like their other games like Battlefield and stuff was on.
Right.
But I
Yeah.
think now it's the Ignite engine. I want to say that's the one they rolled out maybe
So
4 years ago.
if that 2 to 3 window, if this is going to be their guinea pig for it, because if they can bring out testing on that, they can do some tweaks in Madden, or they. But I think that they'd want to roll out a engine together as one single package, or they put like Madden D4. They introduce if this timeline goes like 23, Madden 23, they roll out a new engine to test it out, to have the tweaks, because everyone will want this game to be good. This game being a failure is absolutely going to blaze out the water.
Yeah, I agree. The EA has no room to fail with this, because it's going to be almost 10 years since the last installment of NCAA football by the time this game comes out. And they're going to make a killing off of it, but you want to talk about pissing people off. If they do a terrible job with this, if they, no pun intended, but also pun kind of intended, if they fumble this, then I don't see like where there's room for forgiveness for them. And it's like the next iteration of it, like that next year, could be the greatest college football game of all time. But people are just gonna get burnt so bad if it just fails. And if it's nothing more than just a Madden reskin, and the main mode is a Ultimate Team, but it's with college legends. So you could be running an option play with like RG3 and Barry Sanders back there, and your favorite players from college. Like if that's what it turns into, then that's going to be sad and it's going to be unfortunate. And if the recruiting aspect is super bare bones, that's going to suck. But we'll save a little bit. Go ahead.
No, that's actually so. You're talking about concern, things that we're scared about. So if we just roll into that decent segue.
Yeah.
What are concerns that you guys have? Because for me, when you talk, I thought it was super cool to start. I could have college version of like Teddy Ginn catching passes from Andre Ware or something like that. And I thought that was the coolest player in the world to me growing up. But I really understand that in the FIFA format, that it was just such a action pay structure. NBA 2K is phenomenal in their My Career mode. Pay more money than the $100 you paid for the purchase. So you're going to pay $250 for the lifetime of that game. Smart for business. Yes, no one likes it. No one likes doing
Mhm.
that. But the set and Ultimate Team mode for FIFA is that. Pay for new packages, pay for bundle packs, and that's a huge fear of mine. I don't want the microtransaction trend to follow it. A is grubby, so you know that it's something that they could. So just some concerns that you guys have.
Go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't even thinking about those types of concerns about the paying more money for it. It is something point you brought up though is that never paid any extra money for a video game other than the purchase, than to have the disc back in the day. But Fortnite for me came around and changed the game, which is ironic, literally the free to play game. So I felt like, all right, what's $10 for some, to get a new skin, and then they turned into amount of money I'm just like embarrassed on camera. But and then once I got really big into 2K of this, and I was grinding that like crazy. And you're right, more and more money out of me as much as they can. I've never been a fan of Ultimate Team. To me, full of
Same.
like crazy, what I call sweaty people that won't do anything, and they just literally just spend all day, opening packs. They spend so much, like I'm not going to compete with that. However, if you're going to give me a call of that, where I'm not talking about as much money spent, but like you said, if I could run Lamar Jackson and Barry Sanders, listen, you give me $15 for me on top of whatever it is. It's hard for me to say that I won't spend the extra money. Concerns more with like the gameplay stuff, where I just hope they're the same two like broken plays over and over again, because like
Four
when it comes
verts.
to actual gameplay, and if you play online, yeah, exactly. Or like, I don't know if you guys are with Coach Dogs and what he did in
Mhm.
quarantine, like feel that was just literally the broken play to win a national championship. And as much fun as it was to watch, like I'm not losing to someone playing, playing online. I don't want to play doing that 25 times a game. Like that's not fun. I'd rather some parity and something like that. That's my biggest concern when it comes to gameplay.
Yeah, and just to kind of hit on the Ultimate Team thing again, I'm I'm okay if they want to do that because I understand there's people that really enjoy doing that. And just as a consumer, even though I don't care much for it, there may be a time where I try to hop in there and try to do it, but I just don't want it to become the focus like it has with Madden. Because in Madden, it's there, but it's just like the monetization of the game. That's the sole focus. It's not the gameplay. It's not franchise mode. It's it's Ultimate Team, and then to an extent the Yard also, which is, from what I understand, is just a mode that hardly anyone plays anymore. But they can still continue to pump out content for it
Don't
because
like
it
it.
doesn't really matter if people are playing it or not, as long as you have a few people playing it and are continuing to pay for cosmetic items, then the mode pays for itself, and that's what Ultimate Team does. So again, I'm cool with it, them
Yeah.
being in there. I just don't want it to be the focus. I don't want it. I don't want them to spend more time making a fancy looking UI and adding sound effects to you opening packs, and more worried about that than
The,
I'm going to get a bare bones recruiting system. It's like press a couple buttons and
what
I may or may not get that recruit. Or there's some big
what
problems like maybe like option plays aren't working all that great because they don't really you don't really run those in Madden because there's very few pro systems that run option plays or the pistol formation, but those are big plays in college. I mean, look at someone like Georgia Tech. All they run are option plays. Like that. That's it, and that's how they build their system. And it was terrible, terrible to go up against them. I was always
Tony,
scared to play them in NCAA 14 because the option plays were deadly. But that's
yeah,
just one of we all kind of shared that
it,
fear of the Ultimate
yeah.
Team thing.
It oh, it's also the monetization craze because so far, at least from my knowledge of the games I've played, the EA is you can accessorize your player however you want. You might need a little bit, through experience or your overall. But the thing that bothers me, like in 2K, is that unless you grind for it, that you'd have to pay for like a shooter sleeve, or you have to pay certain shoes. I get if there are very elite, special premium things that you want that like add to your speed or catchability or something like that. If we're doing career mode and we're going through high school and I want a Nike sleeve, be available. You should it should just be available or a generic, just some generic kind of sleeve. You don't have to pay for it because everyone in like Road to or the Madden, the quarterbacks that they have, that you can't edit the players while they're in college. They just have like an armband that looks like crap and figure weird, and you can't adjust their helmet or anything like that. And for me, that's bothering. But I'm going on about this. I hope they don't monetize and nickel and dime you.
Mm-hmm. And it's EA, so who knows? Who knows? Which is there's something in the back of my mind, and it's why Madden was trending today, along with probably even more so than the college football as a trend, just from the fact that you had a lot of people saying like, please don't let it be like Madden. Please don't Madden it. Please, please, please. But I was talking to my co-host, or I guess I'm the co-host technically, of the Tandemonium Sports Show, Brian Tan. We were talking about this just earlier because it was such a big story. We wanted to talk about it. But I saw someone point this out on Twitter, is that really kind of the best Madden and the best football games we got were when we had both Madden and NCAA football coming out simultaneously, because they're two separate teams, and there's basically competition within EA on who's going to have the better football game. There's bragging rights, maybe some bonuses or something. I don't know what all is involved, but we as consumers always benefit from competition, which is why I wish the NFL would, for us, take away the exclusive licensing agreement. Disney's already done it with Star Wars, so probably in the next couple of years we're going to get some excellent Star Wars games, I'd imagine. But for football, that's just that's a hope that I have, is that this will breed competition and it'll trickle down into Madden. They're already acting like, they're going to try to do some better things with Madden with the franchise mode. But Madden, it's a little too late, because it's stuff that we've been calling for like 3-4 years, and they just kind of continue to ignore people. But I think with college football, just because it's been 10 years and we're so desperate for a college football game, that maybe they get a little bit more leeway, in a sense that, well, they really won't even get that much leeway, just from the fact that they have to nail it the first time, kind of something that we talked about at the beginning. But we can go ahead. Or go ahead, Adam. What'd you say?
I was gonna say, growing up, it was always one or the other. Had one or the other, and like you said, the competition breeds success. And I think, honestly, one of my favorite parts about the NCAA mode was not only starting in high school and you build college, but I like to bring my guy to Madden with me. Mm-hmm. So I know that there are two separate teams and developers and all that jumbo, but I do like the ability to have some interaction between them. But like you said, competition breeds success. I think that everyone's going to get this NCAA. I think you're lying to yourself if you say you're not, because of what EA has put out in the past. And I really think that EA would have to absolutely destroy the next two Maddens for it to not even be considered for some people. But I look forward to me, I really like hoping they're the road to glory, the Heisman. Like we said for 2K, my career is their best mode far and away, opinion. So I hope that EA and those developers take the lead, see that's what people are playing, and follow that trend.
Yeah, so we'll kind of go off of what Adam was talking about there and kind of transition into the meat and potatoes, as a lot of people around here in the South where I live at, say, of what this video is, and it's just kind of our wish list of what we want to see, what we want as consumers and fans and people that just love this game and love college football, on what we want to see this game, because we want to see this game at its best. If we're going to be chunking out $70 for this thing, plus a possible, the $500 investment to buy the console, then we're going to want this game to be the best. So to kind of recap a couple of things that we've said, we've talked about the atmosphere. We want to see, the fans waving at the kids at the children's hospital. We want to be playing football, and all of a sudden the fans are singing "Country Roads, Take Me Home," we want to see, all this great, atmospheric things. But let's kind of we'll go one at a time. Matthew, we'll start with you. What is something that we haven't named that is just kind of something that's, die hard, that's something that you want, where if it's not in the game, then it may piss you off?
So there's two parts. One, something that I believe could be done easily, and that is I liked the ability in Madden to be able to go from player to coach to owner, staff decisions, or that you are the staff, but scheme. Because if something's not working, something's not working. So I would like that kind of control at the university. And if I'm just a coach, you work 2K, you have an owner that will either give you money based on personality traits that you have to work, whether you get money for renovating, recruiting tools, stadium renovations. That's something that you can have to work with. Not all the dialogue and challenges and weird questions that you get asked. Just a personality match that you can have, to where you can either work as a coach or you can control the coaching staff and may not have to do the recruiting. If they're not a good recruiter, can't get them out or edit them, whatever. Second, accessories. I like the players to look like how, and mind you, we all understand that the likeness, this is probably just going to be like this is going to be some random appearance that they're going to have. Height and weight might be the same. No names, numbers, and positions are probably going to be the same. That's it. Or if not at all, if they don't even want to get close to that, they'll just randomize all the ratings, but then they'll randomize all players. I want my players to look like how they're looking on Saturdays. Or if you're late on every single day too. But want the accessibility that Madden's giving, along with the creativity that like someone is giving. What you can give armbands, scrunch, like all the brands, whatever is possible for them. But I want them to be able to look up.
Yeah, just kind of going off of what you're saying, and I think you maybe hinted on it, but I just want to reiterate it because I think it would be really cool. But you talk about schemes and like specifically recruiting players that fit your scheme.
Yeah. Ooh. Can I put that? I think you're going to get to it, but you cannot run 3-4 defense in 14 because you'd never know if an outside linebacker was just an inside backer that was fast in coverage, or if they were the ability to actually go off the edge for you. So sorry, that was such a frustrating thing. I always had to do 4-3.
No. Yeah. No, just give us flexibility as the head coach to decide what type of offensive and defensive scheme we want to run, kind of similar to how it is right now in Madden. And I'll even take it a step further. I've got an NFL Head Coach 09 series going on the channel right now, and that is extremely in-depth, and that's something that I would love to see, to the point where I'm not just customizing my offensive and defensive coordinator, and, beefing them up, and eventually, like in previous games, maybe they get beefed up good enough to where they get a head coaching position somewhere else, which would be kind of cool because then you can keep track of your coaching tree throughout the league. But also let me do like quarterbacks coach, running back coach, O line coach, DL coach, defensive backs coach, special teams coach, wide receiver coach. Let me beef up those guys and let me kind of hand things off to them at a micro level, so that way I get the team set the exact way that I want it to. If I got specific receivers that I like for whatever scheme that I'm running, then that's the type of receivers that I want to get. So there needs to be abilities and stuff that you could be able to check in recruiting for high school. You'd be able to find them, and maybe even like in how it is in Madden, where it's a little puzzle piece, which means that they fit into your scheme. Something along that line would be really cool, and it would make scouting and it would make recruiting a lot more intense, in my opinion, because you're not just going out there and getting guys that are the best overall or the highest star recruit. Maybe you've got a 3-star recruit, but you run speedy backs that can catch well, and he's got decent catching and good speed, and he's just a little bit down on the rest of his attributes. But he fits your scheme very well, so maybe there's like a bonus that he gets for fixing it in your scheme. Go ahead.
And going off that, and one other thing that was newly introduced was development traits.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we ran, Adam, for you, we ran Buffalo, and we get a recruit who's absolutely money. If we want to run a spread option, running back, Jarrett Patterson, let's take him for example. If we get him in, and he comes in at 66 overall, because he was a 33, he was a 3-star recruit, he bumps up a little bit. Gaps that they would have, I think the most you could get a player to increase by was 8. If you find a gem, let them also prosper as a gem, because they wouldn't fundamentally get up there unless you paid for the max training tool that they had. They could only gain by 8, and that was just random luck of the draw. So if they're a good player, just needed that development in college, let us find someone who won't be as good their freshman year, but they'll gain by 10 in the year or something like that. So
I'm definitely in the minority of this recruiting. That was never something I was really big into when I was playing NCAA, but I guess when you're talking like game longevity and wanting to play over is something that is obviously important. But I hope that I kind of touched on this earlier, to me, the most important thing is play. Like, what happens when, the scoreboard comes on and you're doing that stuff, and maybe I'm just like a little childish and have a little bit more ADD, so all the extra work is fun for me. But I want to see the options be able to work well. I want to have whatever it is, not broken play. For me, it's all about the gameplay, and all the extra stuff is all funny in games, like the whipped cream and the cherry. However, I would like, in the perfect world, there to be some sort of option where I can, speed recruit people, do what you guys are saying, have that for me. And obviously I know that it won't be perfect because it's not user controlled, something that I'll accept. But to me, my hopes and dreams in this game rely solely on what happens gameplay after. I would like to be able to do the coin toss. I don't know when Madden stopped allowing you to freaking pick heads or tails or kick or defer. Literally like the stupidest thing. When I hope they haven't bought a Madden in a few years, to be honest, because of all those issues that I read about on Twitter, and all my friends that it's the same thing. If I want to play Madden against my friends, have Madden 18 or 19, and we hop online and we don't have to worry about server issues that way. For me, I look forward to hopefully gameplay not being so sucky, and I want to be able to run options, do the cool college football stuff. Like, I like to be able to run a works, not that everyone, all right, Wildcat, and we're going. Like, no, I'd like to be able to scheme some things up or have some flexibility within.
And jumping for that, it's doable. NBA 2K, you can have a full staff of different coaches, scouts, anything of that. Or one scout, it's based on their ability, whether or not you're going to get good intel or data, and you just have to do all the scouting, or you can take it on yourself. So this kind of thing doesn't exist. And in FIFA, if you want to send FIFA or in San Diego, when they do MLB The Show, you can have scouts, and it's based on their ability whether you're going to get quality data, or if you're going to get something that size and quality of data can be affected by their attributes. So it's not like it's something that's achievable. You might be able to have final hearsay, I'll say, on the roster. But yeah, for Adam, like, that can happen because it's happening with right now, even in the EA universe. You just might have to make the confirm.
Yeah, and I'll bring.
I'm okay with that.
I'll bring in 2K again here real quickly, just from the fact of kind of the next point that I want to bring up is presentation, and I don't know why Madden doesn't do this, or why EA doesn't do this with Madden, but you guys know that EA still owns the licensing and likeness for ESPN for presentation purposes.
Yeah, I heard about that, and I know that in the ESPN franchise, the 2K franchise for them, I think they're coming out with a simulation game. When the closest thing we have to think about is a Head Coach 09. Yeah, that's dumb.
Yeah, but so here, kind of like what 2K does, and I'm going to draw it with 2K because I think 2K's presentation, well, the gameplay, I have not been a fan of the gameplay and the things that they've done with the game. I think the presentation is really nice for them, and I think if you can kind of combine the two, you know, they have a baby together, and it comes out as the presentation between 2K, what 2K's doing, and a couple things that Madden's doing right now. Then I think that it could be really great presentation. And here's what I mean. So it would be stupid of them to not take advantage of that and to not bring in college game day into some capacity. You know, whether it be maybe Kirk Herbstreit, you know, is, you know, one of the commentators like he's been in the past, or, you know, you use him, you use some of the other guys. But I would also like to see maybe if you have these deals right now in place, maybe you can use like commentators and how things look from the SEC network, or, you know, the Big 12, you know, whatever. That way, if it's like a conference game, then you have different commentators for that conference game. Whereas maybe if it's a big matchup, you know, and College Game Day is there, then you have a cool cutscene with the College Game Day crew. And that's kind of like a reward where if you're doing a rebuild and you're a team, a smaller school that maybe is, you know, maybe you're one of the bottom feeders of the SEC, or maybe you're in, you know, one of just the other Power 5 conferences, but you play well, you recruit well, you start getting to play better, then you start getting more and more College Game Day games, and you get little cutscenes at where you're at, and it's the College Game Day crew. It's there, you know, there's the crowd in the background, they're holding up funny signs, and just the presentation just completely changes from like whatever it is the conference that you're in to now it's ESPN. You're getting the whole 9 yards when it comes. You're getting the best commentators because you're a top 10 team facing against another top 10 team, and it's a regular season matchup. You know, it's the college football playoff. You know, you're getting College Game Day crew showing up at the Rose Bowl, or in at AT&T Stadium, or at the Superdome. You know, just wherever everything is at, you know, everything changes. And it's also similar to what MLB The Show does, to where it's more of like locally televised, or it's like prime time, or it's on the MLB network, and they have separate commentating crews and even separate like scoreboards. They look completely different, and the presentation is completely different depending on the presentation that you choose. If it's just another game in the 160 something schedule that they got, or 180 something games that they play, whatever, or, you know, if it's like prime time, these are two teams fighting it out for the division and we're getting close to October, you know, stuff like that. I think they could take huge advantage of, and I think that's where the 2 to 3 year time period in between the announcement and getting our hands on the game plays into their advantage, where they can really go all out with the presentation. And business is business, so I'm sure they'll be able to find other companies where they throw ads in there, just like in real life. I think in
Did that in
NCAA
14 too.
Yeah, they did that in 14 too. Like you would come back from halftime and you'd see a
They
Nissan
had like
commercial.
a Reese's moment or something.
Yeah, like a Reese's moment, or like
I mean,
the new Nissan Altima. They're advertising that stuff plain as day right there.
Yeah.
And, that's just another way to monetize the game, with not at our expense, obviously, but it's going to be a popular game. You're going to have advertisers
but we don't
lining
mind
up.
that because we.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like it benefits EA, and we don't have to pay for it, and that's why it's a win for us and a win for EA. Maybe it's a loss for Nissan because they have to pay, extra advertising for a game that I'm sure is probably going to be the second best selling sports game that year. I say second because FIFA is such a global phenomenon. But Adam, let's go back to you real quick. And do you have another thing you can bounce off something we've said? Or something else that you want to see?
Yeah, I mean, the presentation thing I think is really interesting part. And to be honest, I kind of just assumed it was going to be naturally part of it because it was part of the last game, and there still seemed to have some sort of tie to ESPN and whatever that. The sports gambler in me would love to have a spread to know how much, what that is and how I'm supposed to beat a team. Back in 2013, I thought that.
And another thing,
I
real
was just
quickly,
going based off matchup numbers.
Another thing real quickly that I totally forgot used to be in old games, because they did used to have the College Game Day crew there, because you had Lee Corso there as well. He would throw on the mascot head of who he thought was going to win the game. It eventually changed into you just had Kirk Herbstreit, and his picture would pop up on either side of who he thought was going to win. But I want to see Lee Corso, freaking put on a Gator mascot costume and just start dancing up on the table.
Give me the bear. Give me the Bears betting board, or something like that. Just like when they had the weekly headlines or something like that, like the top 25, the show, that kind of magazine style that they had.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's a lot easier for them to do, but just pop up there like 4 random boards. Because if I'm gonna play the first team, I'm probably in a huge build out is probably gonna be Carolina. I want to change.
That's my number one too.
I want to change the field, but uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
I dig the offense that they run, and they're in South Carolina is a good recruiting bet. So I already know it worked there, but change the field.
I want that field. I was actually at Coastal for a year, and it was one of the I was only there for 1 year. I could only last 1 year, but first year they put in the teal turf, and it was something that really is like a community-based thing, going based off of like those. Obviously, probably if based off what everything Jackson said with the next gen console looks, it'll probably actually make me go blind. But then get rid of it, and I'll deal with it then. However, but yeah, Coastal is like the first team I want to do. But going off what Jackson was saying, bring game day. I know what that meant to those people down there, and the alumni and there. That was huge. And I was talking to one of my friends who's still there, and you could tell there's a buzz on campus. There were a lot more people touring because people that is real stuff, and your recruits are going to want to go there because of performances like that. So that's a big part.
Yeah, Memphis. Shout out Memphis Grizzlies. Memphis had it last year. They had a college game day there, and good lord, Bill Street was popping. It got to the point where, because the Grizzlies were playing the Lakers that same night, LeBron was tweeting out that he was annoyed because he was trying to take a nap, and pretty much all of Memphis was on Beale Street. There were bands playing, music going, people screaming, hollering, having a good time. Pretty much the complete opposite of what's been happening over the past year, with COVID and everything. But the last time that Beale Street hosted College Game Day, dude, it was amazing. And that's all people could talk about the week leading up to it, and basically the week after that. I think Memphis ended up losing the game. I can't remember, to be honest. But it got to the point where even LeBron James was like, yo, come on, guys. I'm trying to take a nap here.
But even in those, it's still something that in the game we can earn.
Exactly.
Because week, if we want, if we're starting out on the lower and playing some interesting games, sure, give us the bear board. We don't need him. It'd be cool. Just have a picture of him where he chooses on the betting line or whatever. That's enough. That thing. But you still have to be good enough for a college game day, so it's still an incentive. And just for the saving grace of the teal field, just because it gives me a headache to look at doesn't mean it's not worse. It is not as the charcoal field at Eastern Michigan. That looks it looks like my TV's going out whenever I see them on TV.
But I guess to kind of bounce off what you guys were talking about customizing the field, just bring back Team Builder. It's something that, custom teams is something that we've been asking for a long time in Madden. But bring it back. And why? Because I want to recreate Vendetta University that I've got going on right now with Maximum Football. I want to bring them in. I want to bring them into NCAA. Let me go up against the big boys and that. Let me start out with a team of 50 overalls and slap the Vendetta logo on there, and then get clapped week in and week out by even other terrible teams. And let me slowly build up, or just whatever, just custom
cover,
teams.
It doesn't matter.
And if they do this, you got to think that they'd include some more FCS teams.
Mm-hmm.
I want to play North Dakota State, or either play as them or play against them. I want to play the Fargo Dome. I grew up knowing that Eastern Washington, with the power, could take pretty much half the time and win. If they include some FCS teams, plus the Big Turtle, and that's another thing we're all going to get. We're all going to get the much football playoff, because we'd all be pissed off at 13-0 team, but or if we played like a mid-major conference, if I played Tulane and got them to 13-0, that we'd have no chance. Just be like how it goes in real life. So I'm very excited if we get the college football playoff as well.
Oh, it's going to be awesome to get the college football playoff and to have just the bowl games in general. Bowl season is so much fun just in real life, and there was just something about trying to play in as many different bowl games as possible. Like sometimes if I had a franchise that I didn't really care too much about, or a dynasty that I didn't care too much about, I'd purposefully lose a game or two just so that way I went to a different bowl game. Just because I wanted to experience it. I wanted to play in the stadium, and I wanted to add the trophy to my profile. And so that was a thing that I always did, because for a while there, NCAA football was the only game I was playing year round.
Yeah.
But okay, Matthew, do you got anything else on your list? I've got small things written down here, but obviously I'll let you guys go.
Yeah, for the most part, it's kind of small stuff. The biggest thing I hated was the height weight ratio, where your head, the head of a player, it's very minute, but it hit the hell out of me. Because if I'm a player who's going to be a short meatball at 5'9", but I want him 215, there was this on their slider to where if he had over 209 pounds, that he'd go from a running back looking kind of neck to he has no neck, entire shoulder, and their head would be pulled back, and it fit. It looked like it was wrong. If you have a quarterback who looks of Shaq, it looks awkward. It doesn't look good. It's very minute. Now, granted, I'm the person who rosters. I would go, if I'm going to play as a team, I'd make the roster by the player detail, and I'd go through each position player and make sure that the players were there. I'd customize them just exactly how they were. I'm the reason the EA's in all this trouble, but I don't care. I was playing Madden today, and I spent setting up the team before I even played a game. That's how I play. I like creating the scenario. I like creating a scenario for Coastal Carolina. I like creating a scenario when it comes to Iowa continuing with Matt Campbell. I like creating these ventures to win my own world for it. So valuable for us. Madden, the heads are good now. They have 40 options for each kind of skin tone. Good. Just keep that. We customize every single little feature of it. Just give us some generic faces that look halfway decent.
Adam?
Yeah, I mean, I I guess I'm not as fan as I thought I was talking to you guys, but yeah, to to be honest, I keep saying it and I sound like a broken record, and it's probably to me it's all has to do with the gameplay, and I want to as we're talking more about it, I love the way the 2K, I love the cutscenes. I like to I found out that's all awesome and that story behind it, and I would like to be a head coach and have full control of my offensive staff, and all those things were all nifty. And I think for if, especially like a video content series out of it, it's a lot cooler for that purpose, and for content create, it's that would obviously be a lot more ideal. The way I play my video games, I'm very like gameplay oriented, and I'll just say it again. I want to be able to run the option the right way, and not have it just it's if my A button's a little sticky or whatever you're playing on, like not giving it to my guy every time when I know he's getting cracked. Yeah, so I guess that's kind of my thing.
Going on to the gameplay part, the one part I have that infuriates me that Madden has not been able to fix for you are defensive backs and linebackers reading your pass as soon as it gets out of your hand. If you're in man-to-man coverage on slants, linebackers and cornerbacks who are on those in coverage are not going to peel back just because they know the instant leaves your hand that it's going to your X receiver or your slot. Not all. I really hope they put it into the system to where, because coaching, whether a DB is going to look up for the ball or not. It comes from zone coverage, going to come from man coverage. They, for the most part, their cornerbacks and Kerry Combs system, they don't look for the ball. They leave his hands because that's what they're focused on, and they'll deflect. I want to be able to throw a back shoulder wrap without the DB just hopping over just because as soon as the ball comes up. If you don't get serious separation on any response, it's going to be picked off. It's absolutely amazing. So I hope they fix the defensive pass mechanisms, because I get 4 or 5 times a game, even though I have a complete situation. Either it glitches out or everyone reacts and bumps out of their zone coverage when it's not even feasible. That doesn't happen in real life.
No, I agree. Yeah.
That's my rant.
Yeah. No, Madden in recent years has been really weird. And there's a YouTube channel. There's a guy named Ryan Moody that is all about posting like 20, 30-second videos of Madden breaking. Like I saw one where he threw an interception in the end zone. Guy picks it off, runs about 3 yards out of the end zone, takes a knee, and it's given to him as a pick six, like a touchdown. And he intercepted it in his own end zone and then ran just like a few yards and then took a knee, and they gave him a touchdown. And it's like, what? That's so broken. And then, of course, you see the other things where it's like someone fumbles a ball and it's like 5 minutes of people just diving after it and the ball is going everywhere. So there's a lot of bugs that they've got to fix with this game. And again, that's why I'm happy we got the 2
Like EA is a multi-zillion-dollar company.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. That's what's called being lazy.
They're stocking an all-time high today they're stocking an all-time high today. We announced the NCAA. It was hovering around 150, and then when the news came to 3 years, and then when the news came out, it was 2 or 3 years. It literally, I think it finished the day like almost, like almost $10-15. But it's just funny how it works.
Yeah, I imagine this game is going
to go to
sell
the moon,
crazy,
and they ended up in a crater.
This game's going to sell like crazy because it was already reported it was about 80 or 90 million annually is what just selling the game brought in. Now throw in people haven't had the game in almost 10 years, and you have people like me that are saying we would do ungodly things to just get our hands on just like an updated version of 2014, like of 2014
I mean, this is
remastered.
this is better than a Klondike bar, so it won't be legal, the things we'll do for this.
I know, right? It's crazy. It's like, what's the catch here? Like, who do I have to murder? Like, when I press pre-order, like, what's the name gonna pop up at the bottom that I have to go kidnap and dump into a lake somewhere to get my copy of the game.
I'm nervous. I'm nervous they're gonna do some sort of like limited like that where it's gonna be impossible to get. And to be honest, I thought that PlayStation would have sorted it out by now, and they didn't. And the way that EA's gone years, like, listen, the resale demand, the resale market right now for incredible. So I that kind of just popped. Think it will happen, but if that happens, I will never purchase another EA game again. I can promise.
So we've gathered that Adam is a paranoid man.
I am. Listen, I want a PS5, so
I am right there with you. I don't $100 for it on the resale.
Yeah.
no shot.
All right, so we're closing in on an hour here, at least the recording wise. But we're getting close to it on the video too. So I'll throw out a couple things just that I have written down, and we'll kind of discuss them, and then we will conclude the video, and then we'll revisit this video in 2 to 3 years and see how many of those check boxes that EA went through. So talking about specifically something like
We will all.
hopefully so. If it's all of them, oh my gosh, dude. Then I'm gonna call someone up at EA and be like, hey, who listened to my video and how do I get a free copy of the game because you took all my ideas? All 3 of our ideas. Hashtag put Vendetta in the game. Just a couple things. Road to Glory. Don't limit it to just the quarterback, like how they're they're face of the franchise or whatever it's called in Madden
100%.
now.
Oh,
Like don't limit it.
100%.
Separate those teams. Absolutely, that is a not do. The team that touches the QB, I don't even know where that weird career mode.
Yeah.
Get them away. Do not touch this game.
Yeah, no. And kind of another thing specifically, I guess it's kind of, I don't know why I liked it, but like in older games, you would have to balance like school, your GPA, like hanging out with friends and studying and working out. I don't know why. That was just a cool aesthetic. And even in one of them, you had like an actual, like it was like an 06 and 07. You had a like an actual room, like your dorm room, and you would like cycle through to like your calendar and stuff like that. So that's just like that's a small detail that would be cool to have for the Road to Glory stuff.
And something that I think they had at 12, when you were coming up, they had her name. It was a female reporter. But she would just kind of give like a recap, like, oh,
yeah, it was Erin Andrews.
This ball went above 200. It could be as totally thing like it gets like a check mark to play this audio up to 200 yards rushing or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But that was they went up to a 4-star rating. They got these offers. That's cool to us. And like the way it was set up before, you only got 1 offer or 2 offers a week. It just depended on who you wanted them from.
Mm-hmm.
Like little recaps. It made our player just feel a little bit more integrated to the system.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, definitely don't limit it to just the quarterback. Let us play running back, wide receiver. Let us play players on the defensive end too. If you want to bring back fullbacks and offensive linemen, then hey, do it. I'm here for it. If you want to have a 5-star offensive lineman and play a career like that, then kudos to that person. I would do it. I'd do it.
Big
That'd
boy
be great.
Stand up.
That'd be great content.
Who wouldn't want to be Penei Sewell right now?
I know, exactly, right? And see, that would be great for the next one, transitioning here. It's probably a pipe dream, probably not going to happen. Wasn't even happening towards the end of the franchise before they got put on hiatus. But transferring our player from when we finish our college career in NCAA football and putting them in Madden. You want to talk about double selling your product, then you make them connect that way to where even if it's like your player, so you're tossed into the draft class, or even to an extent importing draft classes. If you've got players from your franchise mode that you absolutely loved, and it's like, I got this guy as a 3-star recruit. He was nothing. Jim found him, turned into a stud. Maybe he was even the Heisman winner. It's like, I want to see this dude who started at like a 65 and who ended at like a 92, and on, like when you transfer to like the next season, it shows like where they were drafted in the NFL draft. It's like, I want to see this person in the NFL. Like, I legit want to see this player that I took the time to scout and I took the time to develop and take them to the next level. So those two kind of run hand in hand in transferring our player, taking him into the pros, so that way we can continue his career, and then importing draft classes that we've saved.
I mean, these new consoles are supposed to have tons of storage, so it really should not be an issue. I should be able to have my entire draft class and bring.
I do remember in the last edition they had that for Madden 25, where you could import your draft class. I'd like the player. I want the player to come back. It was very end. I think they were starting to, but yes, give us accessibility to go throughout the entire story.
Yeah, and just like a couple other things, most of what I've written down, like we've hit on. Other things are kind of small, like maybe like a possible spring game for us to like customize new plays. That's one thing that I got written down is play creation, so we can try new things out and just bring back practices in general, so we can keep trying to add new plays. Work on our offense, test out our recruits, and actually lead to like position battles where if you've got two quarterbacks and you're not sure who you like, you throw one quarterback in there with the starters, play with him for a little bit in practice, then throw your other quarterback who you're thinking about starting, and then you run him a couple reps, and then you make that decision on who you want the starter to be going forward as you start your season. And then whatever happens in the season happens in the season. If he starts to suck and you make a quarterback switch, happens all the time at the collegiate level. And then of course specifically towards recruitment. Specifically towards like recruitment, obviously, transfer pool needs to come back. Players leaving your school because they feel like they're not getting the playing time that they deserve, or others transferring and coming to your school. Specifically if you're a smaller school or a school that's kind of somewhat competing, but you still need some help. The ability to have walk-ons come onto your team, and if a walk-on develops, then offer them a full scholarship. It probably doesn't do really anything gameplay-wise, but it's just an aesthetic thing that happens in real life. It's a cool thing when it happens in real life, and who knows? Maybe there's even a cutscene of something happening like that. Again, small, tiny thing. That in the grand scheme of things, if that's not in the game, I'm not going to make an emergency press conference and rant for 20 minutes, throwing things and cursing and screaming at the top of my lungs. Not a deal breaker, but again, would just be cool. Anything else from you guys? Anything that we haven't said yet, or anything you just kind of want to reiterate, or maybe you said something, but then you kind of thought about it a little bit more and you want to say more on it. Adam, we'll start with you on that. And just anything else you want to add.
I mean, to be honest, I want to run the option well. That's all. I want to be able to run the option well, and I want my into the next Madden. And I want it and see how that process goes and go from there. I guess my other thing with recruiting and scholarships, I would like to be able to. I remember before we had to like choose what schools we wanted to go to, and then like they can like if I'm a top 100 recruit, every school should be come knocking on my doorstep, whether they have to, maybe like you can first come in like in the first week of senior year, and I'm getting my FCS offers. That's fine with me, but I don't want to have to pick what schools I want to go and then go from there. And I guess like I'd like to be able to train, but other than that, I want EA to step up the ball from game specs and not broken animations. But I mean, the animation thing, every game struggles with those stupid animations that are literally game breakers. 2K has it, Madden has it. The best clip on that I constantly see of NCAA football on Twitter is that guy who was literally getting sacked backwards, bends it over, throws it over, throws it. It must come on my Twitter timeline once a week. They're cool every now and then until it happens against you, but that's hard for me to like really pick. But yeah,
that video is goated.
For me.
That video is up there with the Greg Jennings on a broken leg. Those are and the guy's leg
Greg Jennings
rotisserie. Those three are like the goated videos from Madden.
I'll jump on there.
Go ahead, Matthew.
Just for the all of my ideas just flew out the. Good Lord. I'm sorry. Go on something. I lost everything that was on my mind because I was thinking about those. This is also for me. Part 1/3 of this stream will be in appreciation for the physics that happen and the tackling animations from 2K5 because those are still better than any tackling system because it might have sucked in a little bit, but it was not nearly ragdolly. It was not someone trips you up on the front. I'd still give that appreciation that 16 years, we're at 16 years now, and that game still now has a lot of different or have evolved now, but as gameplay, that's the best gameplay had.
I agree.
Aside from that, let us have it. It's a college game. Don't have like the same engines and whatnot. You can moderate some things, but for the game, please do not let Madden touch this game. The games, they should be different games because they're different atmospheres for different fans, and they're different gameplays.
All right, guys, but we've got a long, extensive list. I'm sure we're not the only ones that are doing this right now, and we're not the only ones that have these same ideas. We're all relatively on the same page, and at the end of the day, we just want a good game. We just want to feel like it was when we were kids, and you're playing with your favorite college team, and you're growing up, you're learning the game of football, you're learning about the college system and everything, and it's just so much fun. And honestly, obviously I look fondly back on those days, and just to capture it one more time with a college football game, to close my door and shut off from the rest of the world and all my responsibilities, and just, again, hopefully play against West Virginia and hearing Country Roads being played by the fans. But
my God. If people thought that the out of work excuses for like Red Dead Redemption 2 were severe, no one's going to work for a week after this game drops.
No, and it's going to be great.
Yeah, I guess my final point would be is that as we're talking about it, and Jackson just said, everyone knows everyone's getting the game. EA doesn't hear this because then they're not going to put in any work, and they know that everyone's going to. That's the thing is, this game's going to fly off the shelves everywhere instantly. Really, really hope that they don't get lazy, and I hope this 2 to 3 year window is enough time for them to get their shit together.
Agreed.
Yep.
Because they would very easily just call it and say people are going to buy it before it. And we will, because we're idiots.
The more and more we talk about it, even if it's the Madden again, I'm gonna get it. But like I said, it's really the last EA game I get.
Yeah. Matthew, where can people find you on Twitter if they wanna holler at you?
So for here, I am at Robert Shaw and Robert Shaw smashed together _NFL. I mainly do content, and I will help out with the NFL Draft podcast busters. So more on the video side, but I pop in on cast every now and then just about my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, Adam. If people want to hound on you, if they don't agree with the take that you have on something, where can they find you at?
Yeah, if you don't like what I have to say, I don't care. Let me know. It's at Adam Krieger, so it's MKRIEGER 1997. I've been doing a lot of that stuff. I'm an intern, but to be honest, I'm just kind of at first, and I feel like everyone in the Slack's already sick of me because I'm popping up in every channel saying, yeah, I'm excited to be here, and hopefully we get some more stuff going forward.
Well, hey, you're the one that's doing
So-
work. There's a lot of people that have been here longer and they're not doing
Real
anything.
quick,
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Matthew.
I'm not starting that for sure.
I'd like to, if we're wrapping this up, I'd like to wrap up one, and that's seems that swearing is allowed on. Fuck Mark Emmert. Good God, he is the absolute worst human, and he's the one why we're all EA is going to make a killing off because of him.
Mm-hmm.
And his I don't know. You can't call it steadfastness because that's standing for something good. God damn it! Can he please step down? This can be a movement towards fuck Mark Emmert on every single thing I put my hands on. But I'm so passionate about that. I'm ashamed he went to the administrator for the University of Washington.
Well, maybe we can get that hashtag trending on Twitter sometime soon. If you do see that hashtag trending and you see the Twitter handle me, Jackson Law at JLaw1995, that's me, yours truly. You can also follow the Vendetta site at media_Vendetta. Follow us so that way you can stay up to date on everything that we're doing. We cover sports, also other things in sports. We're really expanding out this year, trying to focus more on gaming content. There's some music and some film stuff that we try to cover too. We've been covering stocks a lot recently, just from the fact that it's hard to ignore. That was an event, historical event that we just could not ignore, and we had to write about it a couple times. Fellow Vendetta writer Anthony Fontanello did a great rant about it on YouTube, which, if you're here and you're watching this on YouTube and you've made it this far, of course, first, thank you very much. We appreciate that. And while you're here, if you could hit that like button and subscribe, that would help us out a whole lot. Really trying to grow the channel here in 2021. We're already
ring the bell too.
Yeah, ring the bell so that way you can be notified.
All the YouTubers say that.
Yeah, hit that notification bell, so that way you're notified whenever a new video comes out. And we got all types of content on YouTube where it's not just, we got stuff like this where it's just kind of impromptu. We get together, we talk about something, but we've also got gaming content. I've got a lot of series on here, so go check those out. There's also a bunch of podcasts that go up on here. Adam just started a new podcast, Krieger Corner. It's fairly young, but chugging along. I'm a part of 2 podcasts myself on the YouTube channel, and there's plenty of others that are on the channel as well, and a bunch of content coming.
So much content, and more is coming.
It gets crazy. It's honestly crazy. We're doing this so that way Matthew stays really busy, and he has no free time whatsoever because he is constantly helping on that aspect of the channel. You come in here as an intern, you're gonna earn your spot, even if you're not getting college credit. You're gonna earn whatever it is that you get. But anyway, guys, again, thank you so much for watching. This is Jackson Law from Vendetta Sports Media with Adam and Matthew. We'll see you guys next time, and then hopefully in 2 to 3 years, we'll be back talking about reviewing this and reviewing NCAA football or EA Sports college football, and hopefully we're all just having a great time. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you guys next time.